So today's topic's one that's obviously warm to every brokerage's heart, and it's probably the fastest developer of skill set, teamwork, and the ability to grow a brokerage itself. The namesake behind teams is the whole reason that we spend the time and the trouble. But let's face it, not a lot of real estate agents know how to do it. Not every real estate agent came from corporate America where teamwork is forced into your daily activities and what makes you a better business person. It's okay to need a little bit of extra leveraging knowledge so that you can get better at what you actually do out there. So what we're going to talk about is how to not only build a real estate team, but some of the critical mistakes that you need to avoid in making some assumptions. Look, if you've been in real estate for more than a minute and looked at any of the NAR meetings or the Inman conferences even over the past few years, you would think everybody in the country is trying to figure out how to build the perfect team. But in reality, this is considerably more sobering, according to the percentages of teams that are supposed to be increasing. It's over the last 5 years, it's probably went down 3 to 4% on average every single year, the amount of teams that are put in place and stay in place. Why would this be? You can easily blame the market and shift and past COVID and all of those good things, but honestly, and I got a sneaky suspicion, it's more like agents gave up. They didn't have the time and they didn't learn how to build it the right way. Your busy agents are too busy being busy. Your agents that are starting to kick themselves off are too busy trying to get momentum, and it makes it really difficult to do these things the right way. To get started on the right path, we decided to talk to lots of teams, add to the experiences that we have here in our corporate knowledge and the way we work as a consulting firm. We get a chance to cover most efficient team structures with you, building your tech stack, team members that you should hire and the ones you should avoid. And we'll wrap it up with some common mistakes that new team leaders make. Because if they're going to be in that position, there's some skills that they have to be ready to administer outside of just real estate knowledge. So let's get cracking. How do you build a team in 2024? Before you embark on a quest like this to dominate a real estate market in a mass format, meaning a whole bunch of people able to swarm on a local market, you need a plan. You need a step-by-step guide, and you need to write it down, and you need to make sure all of the people that you're going to have involved are committed to it. First and foremost, all of you work inside of a brokerage. Please talk to the managing broker because you are not allowed to run a subset of business without the broker's knowledge and without the brokerage's written permission and consent to the contracts and the agreements and the additional business structure that you're adding to how they run their company. Even though real estate teams are 100% legal in all 50 states, you have got to talk to the broker to make sure you know the rules. You also got to get a split cap agreement in place, the things that we understand so that we know where the money is going and how the money is being administered. You've got to understand how the money is going to be separated in each transaction to pay the team and to cover the expenses. This is not a free business opportunity. You're going to have to sink some time, some sweat equity, and some money into it to make it work. As your team's going to grow and become more successful, and they will if you do it right, you're going to be able to renegotiate these terms with your broker because they're going to want to support your success. Because the better you do, the better they do. And if all of your teams are happy or your entire team is happy, it certainly does better for the brokerage itself, and the word of mouth on the street is going to be exceptional. So why do managing brokers love teams? If you're worried about your managing broker not approving your team or whatever, don't be. Believe me, the leadership in any brokerage that I have had experience in either working for or working with actually encourage agents to start teams. And it's a simple reason as to why. Teams require less hand-holding. Management usually recruits and trains junior agents on their own. So that means less work for the boss, not more. That said, if you come to your broker with a detailed plan for your team from this conversation that we're having today, more likely that they're going to take you seriously because they're going to understand that you understand what a business plan is going to be and how you're going to make it successful for not only the brokerage, but for the people that are going to be partnering with you. To do this, you've got to choose the right team structure, something that you are comfortable managing, a business relationship that you're going to be very confident in presenting to these team members that you want to recruit, as well as how you're going to administer all of the expenses and the capabilities that you want to be able to be a part of in your team structure. So we're going to start with the mentor-mentee model. This is best for team leaders who honestly excel at recruiting and training new agents at brokerages. You've got downline revenue sharing. EXP, Keller Williams, Exit Realty, those big box stores are big into this model. This allows them to create team leadership. It allows them to help figure out who the people are that understand the real estate market best. And those are the people that should be speaking on behalf of the company when you're in a public space. The splits, I have seen anywhere from a 70 to a 90% split, and the cost to operate is very, very low. So it makes it very attractive to most brokerages. If you like training new agents, if you like working with people and helping people become more successful in this industry, this is going to offer a revenue sharing opportunity for you, as well as the mentor-mentee model is going to be easier for you to be able to work through and still continue to be an active agent on the team. Instead of feeding them leads, it's going to teach strategies, systems, generation of leads on their own. Unlike other team structures, agent retention is not the goal here. Instead, you want to mentor them until they're ready to go out on their own. It's a fledgling coaching model. They're brand new to the business, or they need the additional people to lean on to become more successful. This helps them do that. I take on a mentee, at least one new mentee a year on a one-to-one relationship, so that I can help develop someone and replicate myself and hopefully replicate the business model that we do here at Keystone. Since you're not going to have to reach into your pockets a lot to generate leads for your other agents, costs are very, very low. If you choose this model, you're going to spend almost all of your time recruiting and training. If you're not a skilled recruiter and you don't like the idea of having a new face in your office or a new face on your team's call every month, then this model might not be right for you. You are going to have to really fine-tune your recruiting skills to fill that team with rock star agents. You need to check out some strategies on recruiting. We have other videos out there for how you not only recruit but retain agents that you might want to take a look at. There's at least a dozen foolproof recruiting strategies out there and some scripts that we can share with you here from Keystone that will help you find some of those diamonds in the rough without a whole lot of stress. The next and a very popular model that's out there is the team leader model. This is where you get to leverage a personal brand. This is going to be really best for team leaders that have a strong personal brand already established. They have reputations in certain farming areas, and they want to be able to find agents that already work inside that farm area and want to become super efficient at making sure that they can cover as much ground as possible every single day. The splits are a little bit different. It's anywhere from 50 to 60% for the entire team. And the cost to operate, I would consider, is probably at a medium level versus the lower the high. Have you been building magnetic personal brand already and you want to leverage it as the centerpiece of your team? That is super great. And the brokerages will typically respond to this well too. You use a powered by model. The team leader model is a really good fit for a lot of A-type strong personalities. It's going to operate more like a boutique brokerage inside the boutique brokerage itself instead of a traditional real estate team. The difference is, instead of the brokerage brand being in the forefront, it's going to be the team leader's personal brand, and it's unique to your selling niche. We talked about some of those in the last few weeks. You want to make sure that you understand what type of real estate you're doing, so you don't have a shotgun approach and end up all over the target. What we want to make sure is Endless recruiting and training of new agents is the normal. This is what you want to be able to build your model around, and want to make sure that the information that you're sharing and onboarding your team members with is sound, it's written, it's your business plan. As a team leader, you're going to be the lead listing agent. You're going to recruit other listing agents. Showing agents and support staff are great. That's what's going to be needed to keep the business humming. But listings are going to be your forefront, and that's where you're going to want your brands to stand out and stand forward. Since you are going to require some supporting agents, the team leader's model is going to be a little more expensive, and it's going to cost you a little more effort than the mentor-mentee model that we talked about beforehand. Since your personal brand is what's going to drive this, your success and how well you have done in real estate before setting up this model is what's going to generate the most interest. It will not work if you don't have that solid brand and consistently feeding the brand and the reputation in that specific area that you have already been farming. Which brings us, of course, to the lead team model, right? You're going to run your team like a startup business. This one is fun. This is interesting. Some of my newer agents really like this type of model. It scales the team without a brand. It is about footprint, and it is about mass marketing. Split to the team leaders are around 30 to 40%, and the cost to operate is kind of high. But as new agents, this is going to give them the most experience in the fastest amount of time, and it's going to allow them to be able to really disseminate some good messaging between all of them as individuals and not just as a component of a group. Cost operates a little high, so remember, you got to have cash to burn on this one. You need a strong business background. You understand organizations and systems. You're going to be able to lead this model to turn it into the next Keller Williams or the next Coldwell Banker. This is when you're going to operate like a founder of a startup instead of a leader of a real estate team, almost as if you're building this so at one point you can split from your brokerage and become a broker owner of your own and have all of the experience that you're going to need to build a business. Red flag is what I just said. You're going to think this is going to be complex scenario for a broker or your broker manager to be able to wrap their head around and support. Trust me, if you're working for a good brokerage and you understand and they understand what your future goals are and that your future goals are to become a broker manager yourself, they're going to be fully supportive of this. And the better that they can structure you, the better your partnerships are going to be when you decide to open up your own brokerage too. If you are really good at generating leads for other people, what they used to call in the business world as the rainmaker, this is absolutely the one for you. You become the business manager, the operator, the one that oversees the marketing and the team from inside the sales agents themselves. You're going to fill the customer relationship manager role, and you're going to make sure that all of that system disseminates leads to all of your people. You're going to run the team, manage the leads, manage the input. You're going to manage the top of the funnel and make sure everything is going through to the agents that are working the hardest and that are available to do the work. These leads are going to feed down to your listing agents and your showing agents, who are then going to close them with the help of either you working as the transaction manager or hiring a transaction coordinator yourself. Obviously, there are some drawbacks to this model. Complexity. Understanding of business is paramount for you to be able to build and execute against this. Unlike the mentor-mentee model and the team leader model, you've got to have deep pockets to get this off the ground.